All right, we are live and we are recording. What day is today? Friday. It's Friday. Hi, happy Quarantine Friday, everybody. This is Darla, and I'm excited to be here and bringing this interview to you. To those of you that could not watch it live, I'm sorry, the Zoom is not feeding. To those of you that joined on, I'm glad you're here. And Jordan, thank you for being here. I want to.
Man, I was giving it one last shot, and it's not working.
Yeah, darn it. That's all right. It's happening for a reason, for a better reason. I always believe that. And anyway, Jordan, we're going to have just a talk. I want to give a little brief introduction of who you are because I don't want this interview to be taken up on a lot of your background. You guys, Jordan Adler is a very dear good friend of mine. He started out as a mentor of mine. I met him by a fluke through another friend a little over 4 years ago. And in that past 4 years, this man has added so much tremendous value in my life, and I've traveled the world with him and been on vacations with him, and he's done amazing things for my life and my family. He is the author. For many of you, you've read the book Beach Money. He wrote that book over 10 years ago. It's been a top seller for over 10 years now. And he's also written about in over 100 books. And he has 30 homes around the world. I can go on and on. He's an astronaut. He's the first astronaut that's going to be going to space as a network marketer. And he's also the #1 income earner in Send Out Cards, which many of you know is one of the companies that I'm very, very, very committed to. I tell everybody Send Out Cards is my glue that holds all my businesses together, and it's the foundation to my life. It's been around for 16 years, and I never heard of it till 4 years ago. And people say that to me all the time as I meet them, and they say, why didn't I ever hear of this company before? And I'm like, I know exactly how you feel. And for those of you that don't know what Send Out Cards is, it's a company that it's a love and kindness company is really what it is. It's a company that allows you to put a little piece of your heart into a card that goes in the mail and arrives in someone's mailbox. And when they open it, that piece of love that you put in that card ends up in their heart. And you can do lots of things with that. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So normally Jordan's doing the interviewing. So he's in the hot seat today, and he's the one that's usually asking the questions. And I can tell from your background that you are in your home up in the top of the mountain, up in the ghost town.
Right.
As it is. I've been there.
Jerome.
Yep,
yeah.
Jerome. And thank you so much for joining today, Jordan. I really appreciate it. So
Well, I'm super excited to be doing this with you and everybody else. Hi, everybody.
Yeah, I know that everyone's in front of their Facebook right now. So let's get some captive audiences while they're captive and share some not only inspiration, but some wisdom to people, because it's not that we're any different than anybody else. We're the same kind-hearted, nice type of people that love other people. It's just that we learned about a way to do it a little bit differently. And it's the same analogy of like my mom who's not on Facebook. She can't like and love on posts of her family members that are not on Facebook because she's not aware of Facebook. And so that's what we're going to do today is expand your vision and open your mind to a way to what I refer to level up your love. We're all very loving, but this is a way to level it up. It's a way to take that text that you would do or that post that you would do and that's gone in a social media second or affected and gone, and put it onto a card and send it to somebody so that you can tap into the emotions of relationships. And I got this concept back in the day because we did this with our salons. We were able to be in the top 100 fastest growing salons in the country because we knew how to create human connections in a way that was different than our competitors. That's it. We did it differently than our competitors did. And we did it in a deeper emotion way. We were able to get from the head to the heart and to be able to get into the heart and stay in the heart and build the relationships. And so that's what Jordan's been doing for over 16 years now, right, Jordan?
Yeah, it's been 16 years. Actually, I was even doing it before that. My mom taught me to handwrite thank you cards when I was a kid. And so when I was 5 years old, I remember sitting with my mom when I had a relative that would, give us a gift. We would sit with my mom and write thank you cards. So I did it even back then. And then I started doing it as an adult in my 20s. And then when the internet came around, I stopped. People were starting to email and you just weren't handwriting cards. It was considered old school. And so you weren't doing it anymore. And it morphed so slowly. It wasn't like one day I said, I'm not going to write cards anymore. It just was like, it kind of just got phased out. It became old school and we just didn't do it anymore. But I always knew that it was way more powerful than technology.
Yeah.
And, yeah. So
It's funny because my salon story is the same thing. When
yeah,
email came around, we got rid of the employees in the mail rooms and the overhead and the employee payroll. And great, we're going to save money on stamps, and we're going to be able to send the message faster and instantly. And we're going to get rid of employee overhead and taxes. And we did the same thing. And what we didn't realize when we made that shift is we took away the personal touch.
right, right. And today marketing doesn't work the way it used to. There's so much noise. We're on our phones all day long scrolling, and we're seeing thousands and thousands of ads, and everybody's scrambling to get our attention. And most of the things they're doing are costing them money. And so if you ask a business owner the question, really, truly, how's your marketing working? Most of them will tell you not working so great. And we offer a way that they can do something that's not marketing, that is 1/10 the cost, that gets 10 times better results.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, stop pitching and selling and start appreciating and caring, and you'll start attracting.
Yep.
Because sales pushes people away and attraction draws people near. That's this whole thing about focusing on the heart instead of the pocketbook or who they know. And you focus on the heart, you tap into the riches of relationships, which is your life is filled with it. Your life has an abundance of opportunities. You get referrals all day long. You have new friends entering your life on a daily basis, and you're so surrounded with love that you're almost not even able to handle not being around it all right now, being in isolation. It's just, you're so full of it. So I put out the question and I said to all of you out there, what would you like to know if you could ask Jordan anything about his daily life? Because it is about the habits that you've created or that we create on a daily basis with our send out cards. And this is where this is so different because send out cards isn't like all other network marketing companies. I know that sounds so cliche, but it isn't. Send out cards is the asset to all network marketing companies, because in the end of the day, every single one of us, including the stay-at-home mom, is in sales. We're all in the people business. Whether you're selling your 10-year-old to clean her room, or you're selling your boss to keep you on for another week of pay and not fire you and cut you off, to cut you in this pandemic we're in too, or a customer to get them to choose you to do business with. We're all in the people business. And so you all day long go about your daily life and what you do, but you have daily habits that you've created. And that's what a lot of people want to know is, what are those daily habits that you've created? So I have some questions here that I wrote down.
Okay.
And I am going to ask them to you. I'm going to read them from my phone, which you can't see because of my virtual background. Okay, so, and also I know you're really big in BNI. You're big in BNI because what is BNI? It's a networking opportunity to be in front of your target audience, which is everybody in the people business. And it's like hunting in the zoo, actually. It is. If you're a hairdresser.
But it's legal. It's legal, though. You're not allowed to hunt in the zoo.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like, once I found send out cards, I was like, yay, I can finally make money off bald people. Because in the hair business, I couldn't make money off bald people.
Right, that's a good point.
I can't make money off bald people. Okay, so I'm going to start with KT Matthews. KT Matthews, she's also in BNI, and she would like to know one of your favorite 50-second pitches. You get your 1-minute talk. Do you have one that you have memorized?
So I do it. I usually construct it. It's minus 30 seconds because we have a much larger group. And, but you can modify it based on the size of, based on how much time you have, whether it's 30 seconds. So, but what I do when I go in is the first thing I think about, and I change it up every week. I ask myself the question, what's the problem that a business owner has? And then how can I solve it? So for example, I'll read one because I change them every week. I change it up every week. So you'll hear in this the problem and you'll hear the solution. My name is Jordan Adler with Send Out Cards. Imagine a business owner pivoting from marketing to sending a personal card with a personal note to everyone that might be hurting right now. So you hear the challenge? People are hurting right now. How can I solve that? What would happen if a business owner would pivot from marketing to sending a personal note to everybody that's hurting right now? What would that do for business? We print it, stuff it, seal it, stamp it, and send it for you. I'm looking for a business owner that's questioning the future of their business right now.
I love it.
How to prepare for the next wave. Human connection without human contact. So those are just some examples. That's just an example. But, you know, one week I might say, you know, I went to a meeting just like this one 15 years ago. And when they got to me, I just said, imagine a company where you can jump on a computer, pick a card, type in a personal message, hit send. The company will print it, stuff it in an envelope, seal it, stamp it, and send it for you, all for about $1. Think about what that would do to solve the problem of sending thank you cards, which you can't do right now because you're too busy, or you can't get to a store to buy stamps and buy Starbucks cards and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so think about what's the challenge you're trying to fix? What's the problem you're trying to solve? And then talk about how you can solve it, and do that in 60 seconds or in 30 seconds.
Awesome. And, you know, just to give a little tip out there for you in BNI, the shift is, you know, 2 months ago, it wasn't necessarily trying to retain the customers so that they come back to you. It was to get new customers because people were already busy. And so shift right now, because right now the focus is how are you going to get your customers to come back to you instead of going to somebody else when all this is open, when all this is done.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you. So Sue Brooks, what is his after someone signs up? What is his system after someone signs up? So we're going to take this one in little bits and pieces for customers and for affiliates, training, motivation, support, follow-up, etc. So let's say that, Jordan, you just met me. Maybe somebody else introduced you to me. Take you back to the beginning of time when you met me. You know, you met me through somebody else. What was the process that you did that brought this relationship to be to the level that it is today? What did you do? You met me through somebody else.
Yeah, I imagine it was a while ago, Darla, but I imagine I probably sent you a couple of cards.
I remember it
Right.
very much because I was on the receiving end. I remember I met this guy who showed me this demo thing, and I heard that about this thing where you could get a card in the mail. So naturally, my subconscious mind was waiting for it, and I got it in the mail, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is it. And I didn't even remember you taking a picture of us. You had taken a picture with me. I got that picture in the card. I still have the card. And then the next week, I got a card from you that says, I believe in random acts of coffee, and it had a $5 Starbucks card in it. And I was like, dude, this guy is amazing. I remember that.
I didn't really do anything. It's like, so I still have that card in my campaigns, and I use it 3 or 4 times a week. Random acts of coffee. I believe in random acts of coffee on the front with a coffee stain. And then inside the card, I just said, hope you're having a great day, and put my phone number and sent a $5 Starbucks card. That's in my campaigns. And I just I pull the card up, drop their name in, and hit send. And I do that randomly. Like I'll do it with people that I just met, and I'll do it with people that I haven't talked to in a long time that are in my contact manager, just out of the blue. And so.
And I want to elaborate, Jordan, a little bit so people really understand what that means. So when Jordan says he has a campaign in his phone, in his app, so Send Out Cards has an app, he's already got that card built and it's already sitting in his app. All he does is hit send and puts who to make the card address, the envelope out to. And it's gone. And it takes less than 30 seconds to do that. So he gets a prompting and goes, hey, I haven't thought of so-and-so in a long time, or I'm thinking about so-and-so. And he just goes in. Now, if he doesn't have the address, he just asks them. You just ask the person for the address. They won't question it. If they do, you say if they question why you're asking for their address, say, because I thought about you and I want to send you some love in the mail. You would not believe what that does. People get really, oh wow, they're touched. And if they tell you, no, I don't want you to send me any love in the mail, I promise you that's a personal issue between you and them, and you need to really figure out what that is.
Hey, Darla, Joan asked if it's a stock card in the system, and it's not. But if you go into our system and search for coffee, you probably see some coffee cards pop up. But it's just or you can just Google coffee images or cafe images and grab one of those images that's a decent quality resolution. Drop that on the front of the card, and then just say in there, all it says is, I believe in random acts of coffee. Hope you're having a great day. Signed, Jordan, and my phone number. That's it. I believe in random acts of coffee. Hope you're having a great day. Signed, Jordan, and put my phone number. And you can put a picture of any coffee on the front. It doesn't have to be the same coffee I use. You don't even know what that looks like. So it doesn't matter. Just pick something, right?
Yep.
But yeah, and then put a $5 Starbucks card when you create the campaign and save it. Now that's not a heartfelt prompting card. That is a system send. So it's going to charge you, if you're on the $97 plan, it's going to charge you $1.75 plus the stamp, unless you've purchased a system package. Then it'll be less. Anyway, go ahead.
Very good. Excellent. Okay. Let's say you just signed me up. I decided I want to start sending cards. What are you going to do with me?
Okay, so I'm going to revert back to a story of a conversation that I had many years ago that has really served me. And this is really hard for a lot of people. But I will tell you that you will have better, as long as you're in action, in motion, you'll have better success with this philosophy than trying to get people to do something that they're not going to do. So my job, I have one job, and that's to get Darla started. My job is not to do it for Darla. My job is not to be Darla's boss. My job is not to motivate Darla. My job is to get Darla started. If I get Darla started and she chooses, because she gets sidetracked, to do something else, all the time and energy that I put into trying to get her back on track typically will be short-lived. Typically. She's got to want it for her, because if you want to ever have a big team of people with thousands of users, you can only manage 2 or 3 people at a time. You're not going to be able to manage 100 people or 1,000 people. So so to answer your question, what do I do to get Darla started? The way I do it right now is I'm going to schedule a Zoom with her, and I'm going to make sure she knows how to send a card from her app and from her computer. I want to make sure she knows how to do that. And I'm going to have her watch the Get Started Now video, which is 7.5 minutes, that teaches her just 2 things to do every day. And I want her to send out 3 cards a day for her first 2 weeks. So I want her to send a total of 42 cards in her first 2 weeks. I'm going to tell her exactly what to put in the cards, and that's in the video. It's a 7.5 minute video called Get Started Now. There's a group called Get Started Now on Facebook. You can go there. It's right at the top, 7.5 minutes. I'll say, Darla, I want you to watch that video and I want you to take notes. And it's going to tell her to do 2 things every day. And one of the 2 things is to send 3 cards a day. Now, what's going to happen is, now in the past, what would happen is Darla would get started. She'd get really excited, and I would check in with her a week after she got started. And I go, how's it going, Darla? And she goes, oh, it's going great. I sent 2 cards. I'm like, wait a minute. You've been sending out cards for a week and you've sent 2 cards and that's going great? No. So now what I do is I say, Darla, watch this 7.5 minute video. It's going to tell you exactly what kind of cards to make. And it's going to teach you how to get addresses. And it's going to teach you to send 3 cards a day for your first 2 weeks. So if I text Darla on day 4 and I say, how's it going? She knows what I'm asking. She's asking me, has she sent 12 cards? I'm asking her, has she sent 12 cards? She knows exactly what I'm asking versus how's it going? And that's just, oh, it's going great. I sent a card 3 days ago, right?
Yeah.
So, and then the second thing is part of training. The second thing I want to do every day is I want her to spend 20 minutes a day listening to a training. And those trainings, I've been sending people to the Cool Buzz and going to replays because that gives them everything they need. So that's all I want her to do for her first 2 weeks. And if she does that, what's going to happen is she's going to send 42 cards out. Some of those people will be photographing the cards, putting them on Facebook, social media for their friends to see. Some of them will contact Darla and say, how did you do that? Some of them will say, because they Googled her, or they didn't Google her, but they looked at send out cards because they saw send out cards on the back of her card. And they're like, I'm interested in that. I want to do that. Out of 42, she's going to get 5 to 8 people in her first 2 weeks that are interested. So, and she's going to be getting her training to be fully up and running. So that's all I teach them to do is watch the video and take notes. But it's important to say take notes because most people, when they're watching videos, they got 5 other things going on. You know, they're trying to change the baby's diaper. They're trying to watch the video. They're trying to eat lunch, change the baby's diaper while they're eating lunch and watch the video at the same time. And what ends up happening, do people actually eat lunch and change the baby's diaper at the same time?
I just had a terrible thought and I'm not going to say it.
But you get the idea. So then when the video's over with, they're like, oh, that was a good video, but they don't remember anything from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I always say, watch the video and take notes, because then they're going to write down word for word how to get someone's address.
Yeah.
Because I repeat it like 5 times in that video.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that just gives you
A little tip that I
Go
do,
ahead.
Jordan, just to tell you a little tip that I do, I tell people, send me a screenshot of your notes when you're done.
That's good. I like that a lot.
Because I want to set them up for success. And yeah, very
This
good.
stuff is so good. If you haven't had this, they have ginger ale and ginger beer. Ginger beer doesn't have alcohol in it. It's Q. It's kind of expensive, but it's so good and it's healthy. And you can get it at the health food store.
Oh yeah, I see it.
It's Q Spectacular Ginger Beer. And they also have ginger ale. This is so good. It's healthy.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
Very good. So I want to make sure I got all these.
That was our commercial break.
Yeah, I know, right? So for customers, not affiliates, for customers, what do you do for them?
It doesn't matter if they're on a $17 a month account or a $97 a month account. I'm going to schedule 30 minutes with them, because a lot of times after I show them what I'm going to show them, they upgrade from the $17 to the $97. See, the people that, first of all, people that pay more tend to be more committed.
Yes.
That's just how it is with everything, not just send out cards, but with everything. And the second thing is, if I give them 30 minutes of my time, they're more likely to engage, but they might not. Like I might give them 30 minutes of their time, and then 6 months from now, they're not sending any cards. That happens.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not going to try and babysit them and try and get them to send cards.
Yeah.
I'm going to go find somebody that's going to build. I'm going to go in search of someone like Darla that's going to build a business and send lots and lots and lots of cards. So I will, with a customer, I'll take 30 minutes and I'll just give them a tour of the website. I'll show them how to create their card back. I'll answer questions. I'll give them a little tour of the app as well as the website. And excuse me, today I use Zoom to do that.
And when you got started, Jordan, in send out cards, how many cards did you send in your first month?
My first week, I sent 350.
350 in your first week. And what made you, did someone tell you to do that? What was the mindset?
Nobody told me to do that. My mindset was, as soon as I realized that send out cards is going to be big, which was after my first week, I went to here's how it happened. I went to a BNI meeting. My first BNI meeting, I'd never been to a networking meeting like this before. There were only 12 people there, but when I did my commercial, 6 of the 12 people handed me their business card and said, I'm interested in that. I want to learn more. It wasn't because I did a great commercial. It's because send out cards is a perfect fit for people that are in BNI. And as soon as that happened, I'm like, wait a minute, 6 out of 12 people told me they're interested in something that I gave a 60-second commercial on. Like, how is that even possible? I've never been involved in anything where half of a group is interested. And I immediately thought, this is going to be big. There are going to be a lot of people that are going to want to do this. So the next day, now back then, 15 years ago, we weren't communicating by text. There was no Facebook Messenger and there were no smartphones. We didn't have a phone where we had all our contacts in it. So all of our contacts were essentially emails that we'd exchanged with people. So I'd been exchanging emails with people for years and had thousands of email addresses. I figured anybody I had an email address with, I communicated with them at least once by email. And a lot of those people probably know me and I probably know a lot of them. So I did a mass email to 1,000 people. This was my second week in the business. I sent a mass email out to 1,000 people saying, I'm updating my contact manager and I'd love to get your mailing address. I didn't personalize it. It was a one big blast mass email to 1,000 plus people. And I got 350 addresses back. And I remember sitting on my deck out here with wired dial-up internet, one at a time, putting them in and sending them a card. I put them in, send them a card, put them in, send them a card, put them in, send them a card. And in 1 week, I sent out 350 cards. And the cards didn't have a sales pitch. The cards just said, Darla, I haven't talked to you in a long time. Thanks for sending me your mailing address. Hope you're doing great. We need to connect sometime. Why don't you give me a call? And I put my name and my phone number. And a few days later, my phone was ringing. So I sent out 350 cards in a week. A few days later, my phone was ringing. And in the conversation, I always said at some point in the conversation, I always said, what do you think of this idea? You can jump on your computer, you can pick a card and type in a personal message and hit send. And this company will print it for you, stuff it in an envelope, seal it, stamp it, and send it, all for about $1. And everybody I said that to was positive, and a lot of them said, I want that. And that's how my business started back. And then I joined BNI and ended up signing up all 12 of the 12 people, and they started getting referrals. And I was part of that BNI chapter for 4 years.
Wow.
So that's kind of how I started my business and how I got, things rolling. So I sent 350 out my first week, and then the first month I think I sent 1,200 cards. My first month.
Wow. 1,200, all single, one by one.
Now I signed up right before New Year's. I signed up on the 27th of December. So about half those cards were New Year's cards that arrived about the 6th. They arrived around the 5th or 6th of January.
Yeah.
Because I didn't send them until the 31st.
That's awesome. Okay. How much time do you spend with them? How many training? Okay. Gail Merrill, how is Jordan's follow-up on customers that are not using the system in a few months or have been in years? Do you touch base and go back and follow up with people?
Again, and some of you are going to, when I tell you this, some of you are going to say to yourself, well, of course, because you've got so many people. But no, this is from the very beginning, because I learned this in another company. I learned this many, many years ago. Steve Smith, I was really frustrated. This was back in the 90s. I was really frustrated because I had 40. The first time I ever had success in network marketing, I finally got my group to 40 people. And I had a handwritten list on a Franklin Planner page where all 40 of those people were written in and their phone numbers were off to the right. I still probably have that sheet somewhere in my storage, but it had all 40 people on my team and their phone numbers that I'd written in on this Franklin Planner page. And I would call them individually because we didn't have the ability to send out mass texts or that kind of thing. But I'd call them each individually, inviting them to an event or inviting them to participate in something. And a bunch of them would say they're going to be there, and then they'd not show up. Or they say they do something and then they wouldn't do it. And I finally got the master distributor of that company on the phone, Steve Smith. And I said, Steve, I'm so frustrated. I'm talking to all my people and they're telling me they're going to do something, and I'm the only one in my group doing anything. There's 40 people in my group. And he said something to me that changed my life. And it was hard for me. He said, Jordan, throw away that list. He said, the only people I want you to work with are the people that call you and the people that show up. Mm-hmm. The only people I want you to work with are the people that call you and the people that show up. And I didn't throw it away. I should have thrown it away, but instead I just threw it in the closet in a box. So I still have it today. But so when I have it's hard for a lot of people. It's not so hard for me anymore. But if I set up a Zoom call with somebody and they say they're going to have 3 people on there and they don't have 3 people, it's only them, we'll have a conversation. I'll encourage them. I'll prop them up a little bit. And then we schedule another one and they no-show me. That's it. Yeah. That's it. Now, what I found is a lot of people recontact me a month later, 2 months later, 3 months later, 6 months later. I have never once, now this is going to be a hard thing. I've never once looked in my back office to see if somebody's sending cards. I've never once looked in my back office to see if somebody's still on a subscription or which subscription they're on. I'm just telling you, if you want to get big, you got to let go of those people and let the people. It's almost like if you read in my new book, Better Than Beach Money, I have a chapter about sailing and about sailboats. And there's certain people that learn to sail and they will become trainers of sailors. And they'll sail for many years, 20 years, 30 years, and they don't even remember the name of their instructor a lot of times because it happened so long ago. Their instructor is not babysitting them to make sure that they sail every day. My job is to teach people to sail and then set them out to sail, realizing that some of them will some of them will get their license and they'll only sail for a year and then they'll quit. But I'm not going to try and get them to start sailing again. Some people will hit a reef and damage their sailboat and never repair their sailboat. Some people will marry somebody and their spouse doesn't want them to sail. Some people will just be so passionate about it that they'll sail for 5 or 6 years and then they'll die. Some people will sail. So it's like my job is not to get people to send cards. My job is not to keep people on a subscription, and neither is yours. Your job is to help to sign somebody up, present it, sign them up, help them get started, and then go do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again, and then do it again until you find the people that will be teaching other people to sell.
Yeah.
And we'll do this because they're so in love with it and so passionate about it and they get it. Rather than trying to micromanage your group and your customers, it's a losing battle. It's going to burn you out. You won't make it. You're going to get frustrated and quit because a lot of people will get frustrated and not send. A lot of people will stop sending cards.
Mm-hmm.
But if you carry the load of that, it's going to be heavy.
Yeah. I do an analogy of if you're standing around a big lake and there's a whole bunch of fish in this lake, you know, your job is simply to put bait on the hook and cast the hook, and you have all these fishing poles. You have an unlimited amount of fishing poles. Just keep casting your poles. Put a piece of your heart, throw a card, and if you get enough of these poles in the water, you won't even notice the ones that don't have bites. So, like, for example, I sent a card to a guy that I'm reunited with on Facebook that I hadn't talked to in over 10 years. And I just sent a card and I said, it was great connecting with you. You look great. Your family looks great. I'm happy for all your success. Let's keep in touch. I put the book, Human Connections, in there. And so he signed up 4 days ago, maybe, and he's sent out 50 cards. And this morning I got a message and he said, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to get home. I got an email from our mail carrier with pictures of the cards, that the first round of cards that came in the mail to his kid and to his wife. And he can't wait to get home for them to open them. And he sent 50 of those already. All I did is show him how to send a card.
Nice.
Yeah.
So now the one thing I will do and I recommend is that if somebody falls off the face of the earth, or you notice they're not sending cards, or they disappear, they're not responding to your messages, I still send them cards.
Yeah, I do too.
Like Joe and Christina Woodruff, they were executives and send out cards 13 years ago. And they left and they were gone. I'm not going to talk about what they did, but they went off and did other things. And out of the blue, Joe contacted me about a year ago. I don't know that we had actually talked. Maybe we had talked one time in like 8 or 9 or 10 years, one time. And he just one day said that he wanted to get going again, and he's building the business now again. And he let everything go. He was an executive and he let everything go and went off and did other things. And now he's back and he's building again. He's a great guy. I love the guy. But the reason he contacted me was because for all those years I was sending him cards every year. Mm-hmm. So I still send people cards, and they won't be cards to try and get them back, but they'll be the same kind of cards I would send them as a friend. You know, I'm still going to be their friend. If they're still around and they want to be my friend, I'm still going to be their friend. I'm just not going to try and beg them to build the business or beg them to send cards or try and convince them how important it is.
Yep.
If they don't get it from being around us and reading Cody's book and watching that, if they don't get it, there's nothing I'm going to be able to do to get them to do it.
It's awareness. They have to, if they can't see it, they can't see it. And I tell people, feed your gratitude pipeline and love on as many people as possible. And you don't even have to worry about what's going to come back to you. It's biblical. You know, it's the whole law of reciprocity. Treat the world you wish it the way it treat you back. Treat others the way you wish them to treat you. And be patient. Look, yes, Jordan got it 16 years ago. I didn't get it for 4 years, and it took somebody 4 months to trick me into sending a card. Be patient, because it takes timing in that person's life for it to be the right time for them. And that's with any business and anything we do. And that's what I love about send out cards, is that it allows me to continue to do the impossible. And it's impossible to do the stuff that we do with these cards, the way we make people feel, and the way the people we can touch, you know, getting past the gatekeeper, getting past the spouse, getting past the front desk person, teaching business people how to do that. You know, someone posted on Facebook the other day and said, we send cards and we teach others how to send cards. That's it. I thought that was so funny. I think Robert Rosenthal said that or something. Okay, one more question. Let's see. Deb Zimmerman, what to do if no one is responding to your posts and emails? We just touched on that one.
Yep.
So we're good on that one. Okay, so now here's my question. I know that throughout the year, you send a large group of cards. What is your favorite holidays that you pick to touch people with massive amounts?
Every year I've usually sent out, it's not, there's no strategy behind this. All right. It's not well thought out. All right. It's just what I do. I usually around a month before Christmas, I put together a holiday card. It's not a Christmas card, it's a holiday card, just because I'm sending it to so many people that have different religions. And sometimes it'll allude to Christmas, but mostly it's more of a generic holiday card. And if I've missed the holidays, if I've missed Christmas time, I've sent out New Year's cards in the past. Probably of the 15 years I've been doing send out cards, 4 or 5 years I've done New Year's cards. And I usually, the way I do it, because I've got 5,000 people in my contact manager, and throughout the course of the year, people get married, people get divorced. I know some people that have moved, and although it's not a perfect system and I miss people, I will go and I'll just do because I have so many, I'll send my A's out, and then I'll send my B's out, and then I'll send my C's out. Darla, I hate to do this. Cody has been calling me like every 5 minutes for the past 20 minutes because he wants me on a conference call for the tomorrow thing. So I'm getting Byron and Emerald and Cody are calling me. They want me on this right now.
You need to jump on it. Go ahead and I'll wrap this up. I know what
I'm sorry, you guys.
Don't be sorry.
So, we can do a second segment of this.
I know the answer. I'm going to give them the answer to your thing because I know it.
All right. Cool. Bye, everybody. Thank you, Darla. Bye, everyone.
So what he does is he goes with his A's and he sends all the A's out. And when he does it, he's cleaning up the A's. He's getting the divorced people and the people who passed away and all that. And he uses that as an opportunity for his maintenance, his cleaning and maintenance. So he'll do the A's, then he'll go through the B's and then the C's, and he rolls them out as he goes out through his entire database. And then that's how he does his spring cleaning in the holidays. All right, everyone, thank you so much for jumping on here. I'm going to get this loaded up and make a phone call to find out what's so exciting. All right, everyone, have a great day in quarantine. Stay healthy, stay safe, stay sane, and stay happy. If you're watching this and you want to learn how to start sending cards, get back with the person who invited you on here. Get back with the person who has been sending you cards and do it. You will be amazed at how it will lift your vibration, make you happy, and tap you into the riches of relationships, which is where opportunities, referrals, friends, and love come from. All right, everyone. Bye.